Okay, well, local food is one of my personal passions. I've been playing with a bill called Kansas Handshake Food Law that basically says that if you produce a food, if you grow and produce a food entirely on your own premises, and you sell it directly to me as an end user, as long as it's clearly labeled that this food product is not under the inspection of the federal or the state agricultural department, then it doesn't have to be inspected. We just take them out of the system. You and I can decide whether our food is safe. If I know that you grew it in your backyard and you processed that chicken in your backyard, then you and I can shake hands and I can buy that chicken. And if you get me sick, I'll put you out of business. I mean, it is a much quicker system. And I don't need a $20,000 kitchen to be able to sell you a $6 burger. And I think that would be a good one. That speaks to individual liberty, it speaks to state sovereignty. And I think that leads to our principles, and also is going to make people think and talk. I would like to see us look again at, okay, the term has completely gone up. When citizen referendum, I think we should look at citizen referendum again. I think there should be a way for the citizens to introduce a bill. I think there should be a way for the citizens to approve or disapprove a bill that's already been passed. I think there ought to be a way for us to directly affect the laws that affect us. And I would like to have that as an opportunity for our candidates as a potential issue. Those are my two big ones right now. You ever talk about any others? That's my wife over there. And for the record, my wife was registered Libertarian 3 years, 4 years? 5 years maybe before I was. She drug me into this. Anybody got any questions?
Do you want to discuss some of the economics or the details, or just let people read themselves?
I can go through some of the economics for you if you want to. It is notoriously difficult to come up with the exact numbers. I'm using numbers that mostly come from the Kansas Policy Institute and from the Kansas Department of Education. We spend $12,225 per student right now on educating our kids. Of that, about $6,000 of it is state taxpayer dollars. And part of that comes from what they call the base aid per student. Yeah, base aid, yeah, per pupil. And that's about $4,012. The way this program is set up is we base the scholarships on that base state aid per pupil. You can have up to 90% of that base state aid per pupil as a scholarship for an individual student. So about $3,600 is the cap of the scholarship you can get. So the state, at the very least, saves 10% right off the top of that whenever a kid opts out of the system. There's also another $2,000 of state money, state taxpayer money, that goes to most students. That's based on all kinds of crazy things. It's based on, there's modifiers. If you're low income, it's a modifier. If you're in a high density area, it's a modifier. If you're in a low density area, it's a modifier. If you speak English as a second language, it's a modifier. And it's like a 1.25 times the base student aid. And that's how all of it goes up. There's a lot of kids who are modified well over that $4,000 number to get up to an average of $6,000. Yes, sir?
What happens to the 10% that you save in education? It's already being allocated to it by the state. What happens to that money? Is it just...
Well, the 10% is saved as far as the base student aid, base state aid per pupil. That will just end up staying in the general fund. After the school year starts every year, the school systems send a number into the state and say, hey, this is how many people we have in our school, and the state cuts them a check of our money. So when they send their numbers in, there's going to be one less person there, one less student there, so their check's going to be just a little bit smaller. Now, I sell this to the public school system. When I talk to teachers about this, I say, this is a pro-public school policy. We are here to help you. We've been told for years the public school system needs more money and smaller classrooms. And if we translate that, that just means that the public school systems need more money and more money. But So what we're going to do here is, even though the state dollars go down, your base aid per pupil, the local dollars, which is about 53% of the money that each school gets, for the most part, isn't tied per pupil. It's not adjusted every year. And the federal money, this is kind of ridiculous, is mostly for special ed kids. It's not tied to the number of special ed students, it's tied to the number of teachers. And so that number is not really going to go down either. So what we're going to end up seeing is the state taxpayer is going to save $2,000 per student. The local people, until they change the way they're funding their schools, are going to continue to pay the same amount into the school system. So, and the federal dollars will probably stay the same unless the feds change the way they calculate this too. So the amount of money going to the school per student is going to go up. They're going to have more money to educate the kids that are still in the system. It's a pro-public school program. I'm very careful when I talk to teachers about this. We don't talk about, I'm not trying to put you out of business. I think public school systems serve, I don't know, somewhere between 60 and 85% of the kids very well. We got decent educations. What we want to do is just introduce enough competition and let you thrive. We want to give you more money per pupil. We want you to really thrive and compete. And now if you can't compete, then yeah, I want you to go out of business. But that's not my end goal. My end goal is good education at a good price. And we're going to give you every opportunity to do that. Yes, sir.
How do you, we all can agree that when this becomes public, because it is a well-written, well-thought-out bill, when it becomes public, we're going to see a lot of opposition from the NEA, KELA as well, because a union, for the most part, is maintained for self-sustaining itself. So how would you recommend that we go ahead and counter that argument against the KEA, because they're going to come out swinging?
The bill's really written pretty well, and once again, because I took the best stuff from around the country, it's not that I had myself on the back there. Most of the arguments that you're going to hear from the education system are addressed specifically in this bill. They're going to come at us and they're going to say, well, it's not going to serve low-income students. No, there's provision in here that every scholarship offering organization, while there's no provisions on who they have to give scholarships to, if you want to start up a scholarship program to give scholarships only to kids who go to Catholic schools, that's fine, I don't care. You as individuals can decide whether you give money to that organization or not. So we're ultimately in control of where the money goes. You're ultimately in control of where your money goes. I can start one up that only goes to homeschoolers, and you can decide whether that's where you want your education dollars to go either. But there's also provisions in there that for whatever area you serve, you have to give a percentage of your scholarships to low-income kids. And it's based upon the kids who currently get reduced or free lunches. It's a very easy calculation. Every school system has it. So you do have to get some